Hi, hello, this is JulesTheHuman here, and welcome to the JulesTheHuman Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, JulesTheHuman, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and talk about it. And today is the final time we're going to be talking about Shangri-La Frontier. It's going to be up on our board, and next week we're going to be doing the Crunchy Awards. So we're going to rank the best and brightest that was season 2 of this anime podcast, and we're going to highlight some things we really liked, highlight some parts of the animes that we really liked, maybe some that we don't really like. We'll see what happens. But next week, that's what's going down, and that's when we'll pick a brand new anime. So we are not picking a brand new anime today. We're going to highlight some shows from seasons past, and then next week highlight them. And then we're going to pick a brand new anime out of all these. We have so many anime to go still. There are so many that can be next, and some that I'm really excited about, some I know nothing about, so it's going to be really cool. But I don't go on this anime journey alone. I go with my co-host Matt Galley. Matt, how are you doing this week?
I am doing well this week. Just a few days ago, it was my birthday,
Woo!
and I went to the Christmas party of a neighboring restaurant to the one that I work at, and it was really cool. To just give a short part of the night, like they had this little mini casino set up for the
Oh,
party,
cool.
and everybody got like a chip to buy in with like $150 worth of chips, no monetary value. It was
Oh, okay.
trade in for like raffle tickets at the end of the night for this
Oh, cool.
raffle. But yeah, everybody buys in with 150. I played blackjack all night. I had over 10K in chips by the end of the
Huh?
night. I had
What?
113 tickets in that raffle pot. I was the
Jesus.
only person to get pulled 3 times
What did you
for
win?
minor prizes. I got a bottle of tequila, a bottle
Oh,
of Chardonnay, a bottle of red wine, and then two $50 certificates to like other restaurants in the city. So
that's
it was
cool.
pretty cool, pretty fun.
Dang.
Um, I love playing blackjack, so I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm here for this, man.
Can you, is it legal to gamble in California or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's casinos, and then like casinos all over the place. There's a few
Dang.
casinos in California that are you only need to be 18, you don't even need to be 21. And then
Oh.
excuse me, also still fighting off a little bit of a chest cold, head
Yeah,
cold,
I'm
whatever
dying
it was. Yeah, we're all kind
as
of
well.
going through it. But and then sports betting all across, the
Yeah.
country has just become so popularized in recent
Huge.
years. So
I
it
thought
was
about
just
it.
a fun little thing. It
I
was
thought about it
nice.
because you can bet on wrestling as well because they consider it a sport.
You
So I'm like,
can.
yeah.
Me and my roommate have a few friends that we're hosting right now, and I came home and they were watching like WW Raw. It was
Yeah. It
the Rhea
was
Ripley
on
fight, and
Netflix.
they asked me like, Matt, what's your take on wrestling? And thankfully, I had a take to share because you have been so insightful in sharing all the nuances of wrestling and what makes it entertainment.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what I got to share with them, and they were like, dang, that's really insightful. And I was like, none of that's me talking right now. I'm just saying I have a friend that loves wrestling.
Yeah.
He's loved it, and he's been so kind to share what
Ooh.
makes it good, what makes it great.
Brother, this
'Cause
past weekend I cried at a match. Insane. Anyways, we're here to talk about Shangri-La Frontier. This is the final time that we're going to be talking about it. Hello, everybody in live chat. Say hey if you're here watching on YouTube, Twitch, on mine, Matt's, wherever you're watching, or if you're watching later. We see those comments. People have been commenting on YouTube after, so thank you for that.
we be looking.
But this is the last time. So let's get into episode 9. What happens in Shangri-La episode 9? A dazzling sea of trees.
Pencilgon and the Ashura Kai discuss their next movements, leading to Pencilgon's frustration and storming out of their meeting with newfound ideals. Ashura Kai continue to monitor Sunraku and attempt to corner him as he attempts to exit Third Dema. Sunraku intent on giving them the slip. Saiger Zero cuts off Sunraku before exit and sends Sunraku a friend request, leaving Ray ecstatic that he accepted, even though he was very suspicious of Saiger Zero. Sunraku enters the prismatic forest and begins to loot the wildlife as he provides colorful commentary on exploits of the infighting. before we see the area boss resting in the shadows.
There was some big set pieces in this one. There was some key moments I want to touch on in this one. So we meet Orsalot, who is the Ashura leader. Ashura is, of course, the clan that wants the unique scenario, and they know the spawn conditions of the unique monster and is planning to face it many times to grow Ashura power. But something interesting, and I don't know if we ever really touch on. I thought it was going to be a bigger deal, but this is a longer anime. We're stopping midway through season 1 or whatever. Orsalot calls,
Big sis.
yeah, is it Pencilgon or Pencilton?
Pencil gone.
Pencilgon. Okay, I had it right in my notes. Orsalot called Pencilgon Big Sis. Is that they don't? I thought it was gonna be big. Like I was gonna be like, oh, here we go. They never touched on in these 4 episodes. Do you think it's their actual sister? Because they don't
Oh
even.
yeah, definitely. I think that it's like, they're probably this like a, sibling duo. They're playing the MMO, and so they decided, let's create a clan together around the systems that we enjoy in this game. What systems do we enjoy? PKing. So
But they
they
never mentioned her in all the other trash games that they played. Whenever they're like talking about how this person was the leader of that other game.
Mhm.
I'm forgetting the game now. They never mentioned them having a sister or anything or a relative. So I feel like it's something like with Cyger Zero, where this is a game that's like the top game, so they're playing it.
Exactly. This is the game, so there's just so many people playing it, and it may
Mhm.
have been, yeah, like, because we have seen that like Ray has a sibling that also plays games, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just like they're
Yeah.
they're creating these thread openings of like, later on when we do get something happening, it's been set up and established that these are characters that have been here. It's just they're not getting their chance to be brought into the spotlight because it's the show
Contained.
continues to open the world up the further we go, for
Mhm.
sure.
And we haven't seen. I do remember that as well when you're saying that Ray has a sister that plays, and I think no. What's his name? Doesn't Sunraku have a sister that plays too? Or no? I don't know.
Man,
But
I'm
for
forgetting.
sure, Ray does have a sister. Whether or not she plays the game, they never mentioned her as well, so she could be in there. Um, but some other another big point here is that Cyger Zero, who is Ray, shows up. They run away from her, and everybody knows Sunraku now. Like he
Mhm.
cannot hide. He
Mhm.
cannot get away from everybody. No matter what he does, he's trying his hardest. But Cyger Zero, out of nowhere, she finds them, and this was just really cute. Like whatever her motives, like whatever her thing was, because last time I was like, what the fuck's the plan? What's the plan here? You know him in real life, but like, how is this gonna work in the game? But she finds him, sends a friend request, she talks to him like super soft. Like, I
Mhm.
love
And
that
immediately
scene.
he's like, "Oh, is that a girl?"
Yep. He's like, wait, hold on, what's this? What's this about? They become friends. So she sends him a friend request and he accepted, and she's
Even though
just
he's like super sus, he's just like, "Oh, this guy wants to be my friend and, make good with me. That way I'll spill the beans on the hidden
on
plot."
the
But Ray is just in there like, "No, I just like literally fingers
yeah.
together like I just want to be your friend."
It's so good. It's so silly, and I love that Sunraku is like immediately just what the fuck? What's going
Yeah.
on? Like what's happening here?
Sus radar immediately
Oh,
activated, and you can't blame him considering how the past few in-game days or whatever you want to say has gone ever since Arthur Pencilgon really confronted him. He has a reason to kind of be on edge and be suspicious of other people.
literally everybody's after him. Everybody's after this unique scenario that he's gatekeeping, and it's really funny. I like this plot here. It's good enough for me to latch onto because it's funny. Like in
Mhm.
essence, it's funny. Like it doesn't. Could somebody recreate this? It's for now, we think it's impossible to recreate the stakes that he's been going through. But maybe a Shurikai could do it with their numbers or their ability because they do know spawn conditions for unique monsters. I don't know, but we move on to the prismatic forest grotto, and I first saw it, I was like, this is really pretty.
It's pretty
This is
cool.
really
It,
cool.
it, it definitely, the second he enters it and starts walking around, I can't help think of games like Chrono
Final
Trigger
Fantasy.
and
Oh,
Final Fantasy, any JRPG where it's like, oh, here's the first forest area. Even though we already had him go through like the tutorial forest or whatever, that's what it's
yeah.
like. The prismatic forest has the life, it has the color and all of the cool fauna and flora that kind of create that sense of mysticism when you want to be exploring a new world.
It made me first think of Monster Hunter, because in
Oh,
Monster
yep.
Hunter, you like in the first area, I remember it vividly because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just like it is that sort of forest area, and there's like little things that are different colors, like flowers, and just like and it has height, and it felt like in this area it has levels to it, which is really
Mhm.
cool. So I did really like the prismatic forest grotto area. He gathers up items from killing the local monsters, and he picks up a throwing knife to attack from a distance. So he has now some distance play here. A large beetle is eating the sap from the bees, and the beetle turns to attacks, and Raku crits the beetle a bunch and gets some drops. And then we go into what you showed earlier, the area boss, which is a spider. And that's sort of where we leave off at the end. But we get the after credit scene with Toa Amane, who is this elegant model. And they're like showing her, she's like, oh, this model, this person of prestige or whatever. And it's like, but really, when she gets home, she's pencil gone from Shangri-La Front. It's like,
That's
oh
right.
my
Yeah.
God, that's so good. Loved it.
The after credit scenes really are nice touches. I do really enjoy them. They
It's in
give
every episode.
It's like they almost flesh out so much that I feel like they almost shouldn't be after credit scenes, and it's like, just
No.
insert this into the story. Why are we saving this as some sort of like, oh, this
Epilogue.
doesn't actually happen in the episode, but this is, some more little tidbits for you to chew on.
They've all been enough for me to be like, okay, that's fine. I'm glad that I watched it. It's cool.
And then the whole idea of him like looting up the beetle armor and waiting and watching all the different animals fighting each other for
Mhm.
his the right moment is also evocative of Monster Hunter, because in that game you hunt the monsters in order to bring back their loot to upgrade your equipment, but you can also just kind of like track them around, and sometimes the larger monsters will fight each other, and you just I'm holding, I'm waiting.
I think that's why I thought of Monster Hunter as well. Like I was like, oh yeah, this is mainly how I played, like a little bit. There was some parts where like I'm just gonna let them fight. Like,
Mhm.
yo, the more they do, the less I have to do. So I'm cool
Exactly.
with that.
Free labor.
Yes. Episode 10 of Shangri-La Frontier. Let's go tomb raiding. What happens in episode 10?
Another pioneer group is wiped out by the Clown Spider area boss as Sunraku takes the stage and sets his ante, a no-hit single boss takedown. Using the Clown Spider's traps to his advantage, Sunraku defeats the Clown Spider with ease. Just as we see Sunraku's old friend making headway through SLF themselves. Ray further confides in Mana as she had added Rakuro in game, and we see the meeting with Pencilgon, Sunraku, and Katso meeting in their old game to discuss the terms of their team up in an attempt to defeat a unique monster. Ray spots Rakuro buying energy drinks from a convenience store just as he takes off to catch his group on SLF. Sharing his new task with Emil, she takes off to alert Boss Versace as we learn NPC death is permanent.
That opens up a whole can of worms that I want to get to at the end. But bro, this little party at the beginning just got handled by this spider clown. Like they had no chance. It
I
was
was
insane.
with the rock getting dropped on that guy. I was trying to grab a frame of it, and it's
Uh,
literally the rock is in the top of the frame one moment, and the next frame he is crushed. Like there's no reaction or response.
it's so funny that he's like, why can I? Oh, okay. Here we go. He's like, wait a minute, wait, isn't this? Oh, we're good. All right, let's go
Oh,
in
gotcha.
and do my no damage run attempt. Is it believable? This fight was really cool. I liked him facing the clown spider. He's dodging a bunch. He does his loop slash to take out the leg. He uses the spider's own traps to drop
Mhm.
on him. He defeats the area boss, but is this believable for where he's at? Considering one, he is agility based. Two, his skills outside of the game, as we know, matter a whole bunch. Like, is this fight believable to do a no damage run?
I think that given the fact that we already saw him endure a boss rush in which he fought so many different varied amounts of enemies, and the fact that as we see him re-entering this prismatic, not re-entering, entering the prismatic forest, he has shown that he's learned from his mistakes, like with the whole throwing dagger, because he's like, I have PTSD from that bird
Yeah.
pooping on me. So I feel like he's at a point where if he believes that he can do something, I think he's got a pretty good grasp on the situation.
Okay.
The fact that he got telegraphed that that rock falling as one of the spider's attacks, I think it all adds up that given his skill set that he would be able to defeat the spider, including the fact of being so resourceful that he gets the spider to the ground and then starts to use its own traps against it. He's shown to be very adaptable and very versatile in most situations that he's getting thrown into. So I buy into the fact that he could
Yeah.
no hit, yeah, that boss.
Especially like you're saying, just in the grind of a couple of episodes ago of him fighting boss after boss, learning how to interpret boss's abilities. I feel like that's something that we as gamers do a lot. Like, once you learn how to interpret battles, like
Yeah,
in Final Fantasy, it's like, okay, this phase, let me count how many attacks this phase has. Like, okay, well, let me do the rotation here. So you learn how the game is played, and once you learn the basic of it, you're like, okay, you can apply it to other stuff later on. You're like, even though
exactly.
it's your first time doing it, you're like, okay, I can do it. I have the skills for it. So I agree. He does have the skills for it now. So it is seemingly believable to me as well. Okatsu, Senraku's friend from the Trash Games, is an SLF now, and is saying that soloing bosses is easy, and the SLF is getting a major summer update with new jobs, new areas, and then after this, Pencilgon holds a meeting in Unite rounds with Senraku and Katsu Tataki, talking about Weathermon, the Tomb Guard. She wants to take out this unique monster with just the three of them. And Ashura Kai has sent 15 of their best and they still lost. They will carry it out in 2 weeks. So I like that they're getting some motion towards something in the story where Pencilgon is here, but she's like, I want to get away from this group because I think these two got it. Or like maybe she has an ulterior motive,
Yeah.
or maybe she just wants to get Sunraku's stuff,
hmm
the bunny. Like, what if she's like super
There
enamored by the
was
bunny?
there was a moment, I think it was in this episode, where it shows somebody at like a gravestone or something along those lines, and then she says something like, I promise we'll do it, or I promise I'll do it. And she mentions a name, and maybe that was some old NPC that she used to have. And
Uh-huh.
then when fighting the Tomb Guard, she lost her NPC to the Tomb
Oh,
Guard because, like, in my head, I was like, is that somebody she used to play with? Well, if that person died, they just come back. But this episode establishes NPC death is permanent. So maybe she lost some NPC that she held, near and dear. And that's why she wants to put down the Tomb Guard. But the rest of her group is just like, we want to keep him alive. We want to keep getting the XP. And she's like, no,
yeah.
I want to kill this guy because he took something from me.
Fuck
So maybe it's
Weathermon.
maybe it's a personal grudge type thing with her.
That could be. We don't get the answers here. That
Not
could be
yet.
it. Ray Saiga ends up talking to Sunrock in real life, and Ray has judo practice. So she does some IRL fighting. So that helps the imagination about her stats in the game, that she is a
Exactly.
judo fighter. And it's like, oh, okay, that makes it a little more believable that she is this person, this Siger Zero that does really well.
Hmm.
She asked to play SLF with him, but what's the plan here? Because in this little thing, she's like, do you want to play this game together? Like what? Like, okay, yeah. What if he said yes? What if he said, yeah, let's
Great.
play?
I actually already have you added, so
Oops.
I'll be on later.
Oops, we're already friends? That's
Yeah.
weird, bro.
Is it?
That's weird. If I was like, yes, it is. What are you talking about? That if like, okay, somebody that you casually talk to twice at, let's pretend we're in high
Yeah.
school
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
college or whatever, some person that was in your class a little bit, and then you're just playing your game and you're like, whatever, okay, friend request, like, okay, this weird guy, whatever. And then they're like, this person at school is like, want to play games? And you're like, yeah, sure. And it's like, wait, is this guy? Wait, matching face to previous interaction is like, did you know? Like, I would be like, did you know it was me this whole time? That's weird.
Maybe. No, it's like she's definitely putting the horse before the cart, you know.
Sure.
She's not doing things in the right order, but also it's kind of his fault that he became a public face in SLF. So it's like now it's like what because of his condition, because of the state that he's in that world now, it's like nobody doesn't know who he is.
Yeah.
So it just creates kind of a difficulty with it. But if it's like he's just been soloing and he didn't end up on forums, he never fought Lycagon and he's
Okay.
just been
That
playing
would
this
be
game, then it would be a little bit
way
more
weirder.
weird.
Yeah.
But he drew so much attention to himself that he has become, like I said last time, he is in a way become an event of a character being Sunraku, the person that has this bunny companion.
Yeah. Speaking of bunny companion, Emil knows who Weathermon is. Emil goes to tell her dad, the boss, about it.
Never
He,
gets old.
it's really funny. Yeah. And then we get the information that once an NP, this is like a big deal that Sunraku's like, yeah, let's go fight him. Whatever. If we lose, that's fine. Okay, cool. We'll try it again. Emil's like, no, 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 no. You don't get it. Once an NPC dies in SLF, it truly dies and doesn't come back. This opens up a lot of questions that I had, because if Emil, okay, if Emil dies at some point, or Vash the mob bunny, what if Vash dies for some reason? So like, I'm assuming when you're in his presence, you can attack him. It's not in your favor at all,
Exactly. It's
but you
probably
can.
really hard. It's probably a condition of like, every bunny in, I forget what the town's name is, but like every
Bunnyville.
Bunnyville, every bunny has like, level 100 or whatever.
Yeah.
They are, it's basically to the point where NPCs are inherently stronger than pioneers, but if you get granted like an NPC companion, you have to be careful and not put them in an incredible amount of harm's way. You can't just put your NPC in front of you and be like, "All right, solo that entire guild."
Yeah.
It's like, there's probably that is probably the balancing factor. Is
But
that
my question is, if Vash or Emil die at some point, does that quest line get locked forever?
probably?
Or no
I
one
mean, that's
can
what
do
I would
that
guess.
anymore?
Or it would open up some sort of a uh, alternate route in the quest that the developers may or may not have accounted for. Like there are MMOs or RPG games where you have conditions, and if you fail to complete the criteria, it's like, oh, quest failed, and it's just like locked out. And it's some games will be like, you could go and try it again, but other games that might take themselves a little bit more seriously might just have you locked out. because you made those decisions and you have to live with the consequences of your actions.
So could a team like a Shurikai kill a town? What if they
Probably,
went? What
but
if
it's
they
just
went to Firstia?
yeah.
They
It,
go, let's say, two clans, a Shurikai and some other clan that just wants to grief with this rule. They just go and kill all NPCs in Firstia. Now we have no starter village.
mhm. Not probably. I would assume that might be some sort of I mean, we don't see them,
No,
but one could think that there's some sort of, for lack of a better term, police force in each area
sure.
inside the town, and that's why people aren't wanting to cause so much commotion
Instant five
inside of the
stars.
town walls. But the second you're outside, it's just kind of like open reign.
What? Yeah, it's just whenever Emil said that, it opened my brain to so many possibilities. Like this is not good. Like this isn't a good mechanic to put in your game. Like first off, thinking about like game design, like this isn't good because then what if one person gets to do a thing and or that could be good. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I remember playing like certain MMOs where that might have been a thing where like you can target and attack NPCs, but like every NPC has like a little skull next to their name, meaning I'm not going to be able to do any damage to them in any way, shape, or form because like the level disparity is so great that the game is just going to be like you just can't do anything. You can
Yeah.
try, but it's not going to actually give you any benefit any way, shape, or form, but it wants to give you the initiative and the fact that this is an
Illusion of
open
free
world and
will.
the illusion of free will. Thank you. There it is. Yes.
You
The
could do it.
illusion of free choice.
It's not a thing though. You
It's
can
not
do
a
it.
thing.
It's not a thing. Um episode 11, The Glimmer of Truth. What happens in episode 11?
Uh Vash scolds Sanraku as he is still very weak and not ready to take on a unique monster. Sanraku protests that his friend has a plan and he feels duty bound to help in any way that he can, leaving Vash in a predicament, deciding to help Sanraku. He takes up his forge hammer as the only divine blacksmith and he begins to ascend Sanraku's Vorpal daggers. Vash bellows out a song as he strikes the daggers over and over, imbuing them with great power, upgrading them into the twin moonblades. Sunraku isn't strong enough to wield them, however, to his dismay, and he shares with Vash that he intends to take on the Tomb Guard with his group, and Pencilgon sends him and Oikatsu to the Iron Ruins to grind levels.
This episode was really good.
That was the blacksmith scene was probably my favorite scene in the show, even though there's absolutely no action. That
It
was
was
like just
insane.
all just sets the tone, sets the mood for like this whole idea that he's this combination of two great things, being the only person that can do what he does. And it's like, even though like it's described as like a divine craftsman, not divine blacksmith, meaning he is probably the only divine blacksmith in the game, and thankfully Sunraku has access to that. But
Yeah.
that also begs the question: what other divine craftsmen might be in the world?
And he almost didn't have access to him because at the beginning of the episode, Vash gives information about Weathermon. Weathermon? Is that
Yep,
his name? Yeah,
Weathermon the Tomb Guard.
Weathermon. That he has outlived his time. Says that Weathermon lost his wife to a lie and ended up with an undying body, and he's a living corpse.
And I
And
love that we get that we get
yeah,
this thing being characterized where it could have just been, like a Lycagon. Not that Lycagon isn't big and powerful and intimidating, but for all intents and purposes, he's just some big wolf that we know about right now, a big
mhm.
scary wolf. But Weathermon, the Tomb Guard, that evokes, this big, some sort of undead skeletal
Gives
being.
me Elden
But
Ring vibes.
yes, exactly. We now get this like sense of tragedy befalling them, and it wasn't necessarily that they were always just one of the what are they called? One of the 7 colossi
Yeah.
of SLF.
Mhm.
So it really just helps build up this threat instead of it just being some big bad,
No
the
name, just a thing to run over.
the Marvel problem, the big bad Jeff Bridges robot in Iron Man 1. It's just like there's no reason for us to be fighting some big other suit of iron, but that's what the movie called for. It's not characterized, not well put out as a final encounter.
Hey, it
But
launched a billion-dollar franchise.
but here we get a character becoming the threat, and instead of it just being the idea of one.
Yeah, it's really good with the information that they're giving about this monster or thing that is going to be overcome or maybe not overcome. But also, he almost didn't have access to these other quest, not a quest line, but this other information or getting these new weapons because he had to like finagle
Yeah,
his
he has to role
words.
play.
He has to role play the storyline correctly, and then the storyline gets triggered when he says Sunraku is honor bound, that he says I'm honor bound to do this, and then now Vash
When
is
did
like,
I say being a Vorpal soul means just throwing your life away? It's
yeah,
like,
it's so good. So he agrees to help him. We meet Bylock, who is Emil's big sis, another sister. And then I think in this episode is where he questions like Sunraku questions like, wait, did everybody come from Bash? Like, did he populate all these bunnies? What's all this about? Um, so Vash is going to ascend Sunraku's weapons himself. He gives the quad beetle drops so that Vash can use them, and Vash is a divine craftsman. Cool lore about forging a new weapon. This is kind of what you hope for, that you're imagining in your head, like whenever you're playing a MMO or something, and you have to
yeah,
ascend your weapon, and it's like, oh, this mysticality of it, and it
yeah,
just,
and
oh
it gives it a lot more weight than just I'm gonna make you a cool new set of weapons. It's like I'm taking the things you already have and I'm going to unlock their potential, and that's what makes it cool.
Shangri-La Frontier, I would play it. Seems like a cool game.
It's a pretty cool game,
Vash sings this damn song, dude,
bro.
and
I
it's
need to get a
just,
transcript of that song.
it's so good. I thought it started and I was like, okay, this is cool. Thought we're gonna cut away from it. They
And it just
stay on
kept
that
going.
for so long, and I was like, ooh, okay,
Even
like
like
we're
some
here.
there's even a few breaks where he like there's like a one frame that just slowly pans up and he strikes it like 10 times and 5 to 10 times in complete silence before he continues the song, and I'm just like, this is so fucking cool.
It's
Like
insane.
if this was an in-game cutscene in any game, like I am so locked in at this
Yeah,
point. I'm seeing this game through to the credits.
like the chance they took to give that moment space, like it
Mhm.
was worth it. I loved it because we've been doing stuff, we've been meeting new characters, we've been walking to new places, doing all this crazy stuff. He just took out that no death run area boss, and it's like, okay, we're at this pace, and it just completely stands still, and it could have been bad. Like it could have, if they didn't stick it out and stick with it and have just a beautiful moment, it could have been bad. And I'm so glad they stayed on it for so long because it came out to be like a beautiful piece of art there. It
Mhm.
was really awesome.
I agree.
The Moonblade waxing and waning is his new weapons, and he has a fusion gauge now, so he's leveled up quite a bit, but he doesn't meet the stat requirements. And bro, I felt that
Yep.
hit hard. I was like, oh,
Oh,
of
let me do
course.
some math. I need to be level 50.
It's so good. He has powerful weapons that he can't use them yet. And Emil was on his back this whole time. Gong, yeah, they're gonna go grind some levels in the Iron Ruins of the Divinity. Whenever they're talking about it, Emil was there on his back the whole time, and it's just a really silly scene. Then after
My ears are
credits,
cramping.
yeah, it's just like there as a backpack. Like, what's that? What are you doing over there?
Your equipment's talking.
After credits, all three watch Vash forge Senraku's new weapons, which is pretty cool. Episode 12. We are not at the end of the anime, but we are the end for us. So, what happens in episode 12? Regrets always lie in the past.
We learn that Weathermon the Tomb Guard sets the entire party facing him to level 50, staying at level 200 themselves, meaning Sanraku and Oikatsu need to grind to level 50 in order to have the max staying power for the fight. Sanraku teases Oikatsu on being lower level as they descend into the Iron Ruins. Seeing Oikatsu in their monk build getting to shine, Sanraku poking fun that they just missed guessing his build type in response. Amol is left befuddled that Oikatsu is actually a guy just playing a girl character, and the serpent that they were sent to battle appears as we see that Sunraku also got a second set of daggers with the special ability to corrode away enemy defenses. They crit party the serpent, gaining a few levels, and Sunraku realizes how much he missed out on by skipping the first town, and is told by Pencilgon that they must make another stop to speak to an NPC if they want a chance at fighting Weathermon the Tomb Guard.
This homie Weathermon is like, I'm gonna be level 200. First off, everybody else was like, wait, we can do 200 because for now everybody thinks 100 is the max or whatever. Stays at level 200 and is like, y'all have to go down to 50. So this is how we're
Which like immediately also just reminds me of Final Fantasy when like you're doing a dungeon and your level gets lowered and dropped and like you have a limited access to like your entire ability pool. It's very evocative of MMO culture. Just the show continues to showcase that it really has a solid understanding of that.
Gonna be honest, been playing Final Fantasy again. Super good, super fun still. I'm in the middle from
Storm Trail?
No, Dawn Trail is the most recent
one.
I bet. I'm on the one right before that. The little pieces in between two stories, so I'm just working my way through
that. Me still back in ARR.
It's so good. Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm in the pieces between the ARR and the first expansion.
Yeah, it gets so good. They fight a pyramid suppression drone. Katsu shows off their abilities of being the spirit-fisted monk. I liked that this character is just different. Like all the characters' fighting styles are just super different, super unique. So we got to see some of that. They go to the Tearlight Lake to fish up a monster, and they fish up the Life's Tide Serpent. So they go ahead and fight him. We get the Empire B Twin Blades reveal, and I was like, "Yo, I
thought he was going to be using his Marsh Blades because I feel like we haven't seen him use those much ever since he made them. But then he pulls those out, and I'm just like, I'm okay with that. Whatever. Marsh Blades, throw away. We got Moon Blades on deck. We got B Blades on hand. I'm here for it.
I like how silly this episode was. They were kind of teasing each other.
You get the sense that, you know, they're not just these two people in a party trying to defeat a boss. These are two friends that are having a good time playing the game with each other.
Yeah, I really did enjoy them. Sort of going back and forth in their connection, and I really hopefully they party up more. Like later on, I'm cool with them being together in a party.
New guild.
Yeah. I like the funny part as well here in this episode was when they were doing the flashback of one of the bunnies making the Empire B Twin Blades, and he goes off on this whole thing about does he have to manage affection levels here in this game with the different bunnies. He went on for a long time. He was like, man, managing affection levels sucks, man, because if you don't stay on top of it,
that trash dating sim I played.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, true. I was like, Sanraku, you know, because in these fucking other games, like you're playing all these other games, and like, because I play gotchas too, and like, there's like, oh yeah, this by the way, you have to keep giving them gifts every day to get their affection level up. I'm like, brother, that sucks. I
That's
don't want
me
to
in
do
Stardew
this.
Valley. I'm like, I just want to make money. I just want to have my farm. Why do I have to go around giving gifts to the entire city? I brought the farm back to life. I'm bringing this city back into relevance. That everybody should love me already. What's
Y'all
wrong?
should be
Why
giving me gifts.
me gifts? Exactly. We got this all backwards, and I love his whole. I love how he concluded it with, "So I don't get the bad ending where they all go to Italy to be something at a pizzeria."
Pizzeria, yeah. It's
Like
so
it's
good.
just
He has some
trash
PTSD
games.
from that. These ability or this Empire B twin blades have a corroded attribute, which is really cool. And you could see the corrosion, and that's what we've seen before in the past in other fights. They're fighting together, and Sunraku finds out that he didn't do the tutorial. So this is something that I did not even think about. That
I
him
did.
skipping the beginning. I mean, you figure
Like
you
you've
know the
never played an
basics.
MMO before and you're skipping the first town. I was like, he's missing something.
Yeah,
This is gonna come back to bite him in some way, and I'm so glad that it did.
it's all the same. It's the same stuff. You fight, you go, you build levels, you get new
MMOs
gear.
have systems on systems on systems.
And he
It's
didn't
not
know.
just the one flat, oh, fighting game, oh, shooting game. This is a fighting game combined with a life game, combined with a friendship management game, combined it's all these systems stacked up.
True.
And I really like how he has to wallow in that. And I like the moment where Oikatsu is about to tell Pencilgon, and he's like,
Don't
don't
say a
say a
word.
thing.
He's like, what about you don't even know about the sub jobs? Like you can get a second job in the guilds and then proficiency points. You can squish your little abilities together to make.
Bro has not even opened every menu available.
Wow. Yikes, bro. Do you even play this game? Can you even call yourself a gamer if you didn't spend 30 minutes managing your screen
Yeah,
and how
exactly.
all the menus are gonna look? Jesus. They grind quite a bit. They get up to levels 42 and level 40. And Pencil Gun says that there's a full moon, so they must meet a unique NPC, Setsuna of Bygone Days. And then we get a little after credits of Anomalia searching for a rare bird in the Prismatic Grotto, but it turns out to be Sunraku, which is really cute. So adding to the fun silliness of this episode. Setsuna, I mean, this is cool. Like I would say top 3 of the anime we've seen. This one's in there where I kind of want to just keep going on my free
I
time.
do want to kind of keep watching at least to the conclusion of the first season because, like, I mean, again, Weathermon has been set up to where I'm interested in seeing how that's going to play out. The show, and we're about to get into our ratings and all that, but the show's animated so well that, like, I don't mind just in watching it off the animation factor
Yeah.
alone. But there is enough there that's keeping me intrigued outside of it, other than just the animation.
Yeah. It's really cool. I mean, I'm sad that we had to stop here. It's not really like a finale ending thing, but there's just too many dang episodes. So we got to keep going. But that's the end of our talk with Shangri-La Frontier. The way that we do it when we reach the end of an anime, we rank the anime on 3 criteria, which is animation, storytelling, and vibes. And we give it a final rating. We put it up against all the anime that we've seen in the season. So, Matt, where would you rank Shangri-La Frontier on animation?
Animation, easy, giving it an S. For season 2, for our season 2 showing, this might be the best animated action adventure show, hands down. I'm having a rough time
I'll get
thinking
with
about
that.
anything that matches it. Outside of the season, it's really Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress is the only thing that like I can immediately think of that like surpasses it.
What about
But it's not
Trigun Stampede?
I think this is animated better than Trigun Stampede. I think the animations I think this show has a better has a good showing during the fight sequences and being creative with the the mechanics of SLF itself. SLF is brought to life in an incredible way where again, I would play this game. It looks fun, it looks stunning. I love all of the little nuances that we get out of all the abilities at like everybody's doing something a little bit different with their builds and their weapons and everything just feels unique. All the area excuse me, all the areas that we've been to have been distinct. Nothing feels the same. And that's something that's really hard to pull off in fantasy shows where it's just like, it's just another generic forest. It's just another generic winter
Yeah.
place. It's just another generic dry desert. But SLF feels like a game that is trying its best to be visually distinct, and everything has like every movement feels like it has life. There's no canned animations. There's nothing that I spotted out that was like, that was kind of janky. The one thing that I wish we would have gotten more out of was that boss sequence, the boss rush, but I understand why they handled it how they did.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm giving it an S in animation. Jules, where are you going to rate Shangri-La for animation?
Man, I got to give it an S as well. I agree with you. It's one of the best anime that visually the colors are stunning. Like you're saying, it's just there's no wasted moment and there's something funny. Even going back to like the first couple episodes where that one couple was doing something funny in the background every time. It's like there's just little things here and there. Even with like the menus that pop up, that adds so much to it. The critical stuff that comes out of it because it has to remind you we're in a video game, and I love that. Love seeing that stuff. Love the little notes at the bottom. But I'm talking more about the actual game. But like the visuals, like that adds to it. Like all the visuals add to the stellar animation that is. The character designs are all super unique. Really fun to look at, and I love seeing all the movement, and probably the one of the most consistent anime, like we said in the past, that visually just everything looks seamless, the same, but it's at a very high level. So this animation is just S tier, really great. Really enjoyed that. Storytelling, what would you rank storytelling for Shangri-La?
Storytelling, I struggled to rank it on storytelling, and I do think this was a case of the fact that we've only gotten to experience half of this first season, and I really wish that I would be able to know where the story goes and how this first season concludes for this rating. But where we're at, I feel like I have to sit on like a C for the storytelling, which like hurts me to say that, but I
Mood
really
right
don't
now.
feel I really don't feel great giving it like anything higher because in terms of the story and how it's been developing, it's not really doing anything groundbreaking in an isekai or a video game as a VR full dive that I haven't seen before outside of a few things that are giving it this intrigue, but I don't have any satisfying conclusions to the intrigue yet, which could just be left flat. Um, it does its job, it knows what it wants to do, and it does it while maintaining like stride the entire way. But at least from where we started and where we're ending right now at episode 12, it hasn't done anything where the story itself has blown me away. The animation, the characters, and everything else around it is stellar, but just the story and the reveals haven't given me enough to feel like I am this is something completely new in terms of story alone, which was really hard for me to like
Sure.
wrap my brain around, but
Yeah.
that's where I'm sitting on story for now.
And Elle actually said she rates, or they rate Matt and Jules 10 out of 10. So
There it
that's all that
is.
matters, really.
Jules, where do you rate story for Shangri-La?
I thought about it in a different way, and I'm giving Shangri-La Frontier an A because of sort of the same things you're saying, but uh it makes me want to watch more. Like there's enough for me to want to watch more, and that's very rare. Like if we could have just watched these episodes, I'm like, okay, I'm never gonna watch that again. I'm fine with me watching and spending the time on it, but like, am I gonna watch it anymore? No, probably not. Okay, cool. But this had enough in the characters that they built for me, and those open-ended things we did not get any closure on, and I'm like, I want to know what happened. So there, it's sort of a little different because, like, yeah, that mystery, that intrigue stuff, while it set it up the way it was, and while it's not doing, I can agree with you, it's not doing anything new. It gave me enough to want to watch more, and enough about these characters that we meet to want to continue. And I think that's good storytelling a little bit to me, where I'm just like, I don't want to just drop it. I feel like I know these characters. I feel like I've spent time in this world, and I'm liking this world, and I want to see what happens. And while I'm not super invested in Sunraku, like, I'm, as a main character, not one of our best main characters. Like, I really don't care a whole lot. I care about Emil. I care about Vash. Like, I care about his little town, his bunny people. Like, I care about that stuff, and I care about the connection between Senraku and Emil. Not so much Senraku, but their connection. I care about Saiger Zero a little bit. Where do they fit in the world? We don't know how they fit in the world just yet. We know that people fear her, but like, how is she going to come into play here? All those questions that I have that never were answered here, there's enough for me to be like, God dang it, I want to keep watching. So I gave it an A because of that, because I wanted to understand what's going on further. And they gave me enough with side characters to where I'm like, I like those guys. I want to keep going. Vibes. What would you put Shangri-La Frontier for vibes?
So a lot of what you just said is, I think, where I kind of had my vibes rating
Okay.
sitting, and that's where I give the vibes an A, because I love the side characters. I love what they bring to the table in terms of adding to the world building, in terms of being able to bounce off of Sunraku and give him a nuanced way of being able to experience this world, because, like you said, he is not the most compelling main character, but it's more about everything else that's going on around him that is causing his intrigue as a video gamer to pry deeper and want to pull back the layers of SLF more and more. I really, again, I enjoyed all the fight scenes and the ways that we take time away from the fights in order to establish more and more about the world and generate that intrigue. Um, Again, one of the best just tonal at ease scenes in the that we've seen here with the whole blacksmithing scene. That was just a great moment of reflection, because you get that in a lot of video games where it's heavy action and then you have moments of reflection between the action in order to remind yourself what you're fighting for, why you want to be playing the game. Because for all forms of media, if it's turned up to 11 and bombastic 100% of the time, it just turns into Michael Bay explosions. And that's all it is. There's no weight, there's no greater meaning and sense of place and in that world. But I think not SLF, Shangri-La Frontier does a great job of making SLF feel like a place that is lived in and that people would want to be a part of, and not just in there killing monsters and looting. It's
Yeah.
more than that. And it's a place that I would want to be spending my time discovering new places, meeting new friends, finding unique plot lines, like all of that stuff. It generates so much more into the show that a lot of other of its contemporaries in terms of isekai or VR MMO dive style shows, that it just becomes a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like Shangri-La Frontier is just noise. It feels like it has meaning, and it feels like it is a world that people are a part of. And that's why I give it an A in vibes. Jules, what are you gonna rate it on vibes?
I gave it an A as well. I like the incorporation of all of these gamer words and gamer speak and them and giving it in true form, like giving it actual people that make this anime know what they're talking about, have been in these games, have played this way, have been around gamers, have done all this research probably, or actually just gamers at heart, but they know what they're doing and how to make it as close to an experience that we would experience in a video game. And I really appreciate that level of depth they put in there. And like you were saying, it makes it something above the rest of them. Like where again at the beginning, I'm like, oh boy, another VR dive game. Yes, I love getting blasted into another world and I become a fucking, I don't know,
Slime
stone
that's
dragon.
overpowered.
I tried. I have
You
a
tried flying?
comicsology. Hold on, sidetrack.
Sorry.
I tried because I have a comicsology unlimited subscription now, and I'm like, what can I get for free? And they have manga for free, and I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. I tried reading. I read the manga. I got whatever
That time I
blasted
got
into reincarnated
reincarnated.
into a slime.
Yeah.
Read the first manga. I'm not about it. Not a
Yep.
fan. I'm
Yep.
like, we're good. I'm good. I don't need that. I don't need
And
all
that's
that.
the thing, like for to be a little crass, it shows like and stories that like that just blow their loads way too early, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just all front loaded, and by the time we're getting more characters and stuff, I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
It was not good. So I was like, okay, give it a try
It's
at
like
least.
good for a laugh, but
Yeah.
I don't feel like it takes itself seriously. So why should I take it seriously?
And I feel like Shangri-La Frontier does take, especially the gamified stuff, very seriously. And they
Yes.
want to do it right. And they want to make it so that it's an engaging experience, something that you can relate to. Whether Sunraku is super relatable or not, this is the world that is relatable. And I really enjoy that. I really enjoy the world. The world building is fun and giving some direction to this side quest that we're doing and this unique experience that this one character is going through. And I really enjoy it. So vibes were an A for me. Really like this anime. It's really good. It's
I'm
not
gonna
just
kick my
another
butt.
one. Yeah, it's not just another isekai VR drop. I really happy that um the story was good. And like the experience was fun and it looked beautiful. So with those rankings, we have to put it on our board. The final anime of season 2, where does it stack up against all the others? There it is. It is an I don't have the claps. I don't have I keep put claps on this, but I just have the vibe. Hope that works.
See, you're
Um,
lower, and we should just do a boo womp.
Womp. This is an A ranked anime. Fantastic. Oh, I was supposed to put this one out. A ranked anime. There it is.
Woo!
We did it. Here it is with all the other ones. We've had a lot of A animes, just really stellar ones, some beautiful stuff, and then some not so good ones, which is fine. But we have a pretty good spread, I think, of ranked animes here.
Yeah.
There's a
I
lot.
am looking at it, and I think we're pretty solid. I think it's pretty solid list of like the first season there's some maybe move that one, and like but this one I'm like that looks right.
We got it down in season
I'm
2.
I'm I'm good with this.
Yeah, I'm fine with where everything kind of stacked up. And I am happy with seeing all of them. Like I'm happy I
Yeah,
experienced them. There's
same.
not probably not one where I'm just like, oh man, wish we didn't do that. Like at least there was some things in there that I
There
can
were
either
things to
say,
say from the very best to the very worst of it. We had a whole lot to say about all of them,
yeah,
and
it was
there's
fun to
good
discuss.
amount of variety. Like it wasn't just a bunch of shonen, a bunch of action, which again, like way back when we first started this show, that was my whole thing was that I want to experience a more wide breadth of stories. I don't like being stuck in this one genre, and I want to be able to experience more stories from different perspectives and from different points of view. And I feel like that's exactly what we've been able to do.
And we will continue to do it in season 3 because we have so many anime
That's already
still
like the
left
whole
up
season
here.
right there.
That's the whole season 3 there. So if you didn't catch it at the beginning, we will now be picking out a new anime today. Next week we're going to be doing the Crunchy Awards, where we give out some awards to some of the anime that we saw this season. Some interesting things. We can do a couple things there. So we're going to be highlighting the animes we saw all through season 2 and talk a little bit about them, and then you can give us your thoughts as well on some of the stuff we talk about. But Matt, when you're not diving into a video game, where can they find you?
You can find me on my socials if you'd like to follow me on my YouTube at Matt_Galley, or you could follow me on my Instagram. Just add an ITS, make it at it's Matt_Galley. Jules, when we're not here Shangri-Laing the frontiers, where can the people find you?
Find me at JulesTheHuman, at JULES the Human on all social media. I've been posting on Threads a whole bunch. I'm reading a lot of comics and manga. I post about that stuff on there. You can follow and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's where these anime podcasts go live. But you can follow the Anime Hour Pod YouTube channel if you just want them by themselves. I edited them a little bit and put them up there. You can check out this podcast and watch this podcast on Spotify in case you're on the way to work, on the way to the gym, need something to watch while you're doing dishes, like I do. I watch stuff while I'm doing dishes. You can put us on and let's do us on Spotify. You can watch the video there. It's on YouTube Music. Is that what it's called? YouTube Music. It's on all podcast platforms. So you can go check us out. All the video, wherever it's available, will be there. But we'll see you next week for the Crunchies, where we're going to be highlighting some of the animes we watched this past season. So, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.